Good morning students. What was learned in the previous class ma? That is dielectric, dielectric strength, capacitors, applications of capacitors, and electric field is created internally the dielectrics. All or it will be discussed in the previous class. In the today class we will discuss about the effects of dielectrics and capacitor. What is the effects of dielectrics and capacitor? First, what is dielectrics? Dielectrics is nothing but is a insulator. What is the insulator? It will be keeping in between the two capacitor plates, does not conduct electric field from one plate to another plate. So that is called dielectrics. So effects of dielectrics and capacitors means capacitors having the two plates, one and second one, that is one plate is positively charged and another one plate is negatively charged. The in between gap, the dielectric to be placed, what are the effects to be created in between the capacitors? We will discuss about this in this session. Okay, so you have to listen carefully and take one note and note down all the steps to be followed to derive the question. Okay, so first the dielectric will be inserted to the two capacitor plates. What's the meaning that ma? Take one capacitor, you place the dielectric is in between the two capacitors, two plates of capacitors, and battery will be connected between the positive and negative plate. Okay, ஒரு கெப்பாசிட்டர் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, ஒரு எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்டில் கனெக்ட் பண்ணுங்கள், பிளேட்டில் கரண்ட் சப்ளை ஆகும்போது ஆன் த டைம் டயலக்ட்ரிக்கை உள்ளே இன்சர்ட் பண்ணிவிட்டு பேட்டரியை ரிமூவ் பண்ணுங்கள். வாட்ஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நீங்கள் பேட்டரி அப்ளை பண்ணோடனே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி இந்த எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்டு வந்து சப்ளை ஆகும். நீங்கள் டயலக்ட்ரிக்கை உள்ளே இன்சர்ட் பண்ணோடனே ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக என்ன செய்யும், எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்டோடைய ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வந்து குறையும். இதுதான் இதோடைய பேஸ் ஆன்சர். So the dielectric will be inserted to the two plates of capacitor, electric field applied to the two plates, the electric field will be increased and then it will be conduction of capacitance will be created in these two plates. But you remove the battery from this connection, the dielectric will be reduce the electric field, reduce the potential difference as well as. So I explained in expression form. First, the charge it will be constant is in between the two capacitors. What's the meaning that? Charge means after remove your battery connection, the charge is in between the two plates will be remains constant. So Q0 it will be remains constant. நீங்க பேட்டரி ரிமூவ் பண்ண பிறகும் உள்ள இருக்க சார்ஜ் அப்படியே தான் இருக்கும். டயலக்ட்ரிக்கை நீங்க இன்சர்ட் பண்ணனாலும் உள்ள இருக்கக்கூடிய சார்ஜ் அப்படியே தான் இருக்கும். So first one is the charge is in between the two capacitor plates it will be constant. Well, and second one, you insert the dielectric, you remove the battery connection also. So the in between the electric field it will be reduced or increased? Reduced. So electric field will be reduced. What's the formula for electric field? If you conclude that all the values, first you should know about what is electric field. The initial electric field E0, initial voltage V0, and initial constant Q0, and initial capacitance C0. So it will be having the first initially the battery connection itself, the capacitor is having the electric field, voltage, and charge, and then capacitance. So now we will calculate the new electric field because the electric field will be reduced. So the new electric field is equal to E0 by epsilon R. What is the epsilon R? Epsilon R is nothing but that is a relative permittivity. What's the meaning that permittivity? Permittivity means one device or one plate it will be allow the electric field itself by through their own way. அதோட வழியில் எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட் அலோவ் பண்ணுச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு பெர்மிட்டிவிட்டின்னு பேர். ஓகே, ஸோ பெர்மிட்டிவிட்டி எப்சிலான் ஆர் இட் பி கிரேட்டர் தென் 1. எப்போ 1 விட அதிகமாக இருக்கும் ஆன் த டைம் த எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட் வில் பி ரெடியூஸ் த இனிஷியல் எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட். ஸோ திஸ் கான்செப்ட் இஸ் நத்திங் பட் few insert the dielectric to the in between the capacitor, just electric field is reduced, that's all. And first charge is constant, electric field is reduced. And third one, electric field is reduced on the time the voltage will be reduced. What's the meaning that voltage? Voltage is nothing but the potential difference between the two plates. ரெண்டு பிளேட்டுக்கு இடையில இருக்கக்கூடிய வோல்டேஜ் டிஃபரன்ஸ் பேர் தான் potential difference, that is V. V is reduced, V is equal to E into D. What's the meaning that? Voltage it will be equal to product of electric field and distance between the two plates. So V is equal to E into D. Substitute the E value. What's the E value? Epsilon naught by ER into D. So epsilon naught into D, the multiplication of initial electric field and distance, that is initial voltage. So E naught into D is voltage in initial by epsilon r. Okay, clear that? This is the new voltage. New voltage means electric field insert பண்ணோனே சார்ஜ் கான்ஸ்டன்ட்டாக இருக்குது, எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட் ரெடியூஸ் ஆகிருக்கு, வோல்டேஜும் ரெடியூஸ் ஆகிருக்கு. அந்த வோல்டேஜ் எவ்வளோ ரெடியூஸ் ஆகிருக்கு நம்ம கேல்குலேட் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஓகே, ஸோ நியூ வோல்டேஜ் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு V0 by epsilon r. Now we will calculate the capacitance. Capacitance will be depend upon the voltage. So voltage increased, the capacitance will be decreased. Voltage decrease, the capacitance to be increased. So it will be reciprocal with one another, it will be vice versa also. One is increase, another one is decrease. One is decrease, another one is increase. So C proportional 1 by V means, so you will calculate this. So voltage will be decreased on the time the capacitance to be increased. Voltage kammi aagradanaala capacitance increase agum. Okay, we will calculate the new capacitance. C is equal to Q naught by V is a formula. C is equal to Q by V is a formula. Q naught is the initial charge. So C is equal to Q naught by V. Substitute the V value, V naught by epsilon R, and epsilon R will be taken as the reciprocal. So epsilon R is equal to Q naught by V naught. So C is equal to epsilon R. Q naught by V naught is the capacitance C naught. So C is equal to epsilon R, C naught. What is C? What is C naught? What is epsilon R? C naught is the initial capacitance. C is a new capacitance. Epsilon R is the relative permittivity. Relative permittivity is nothing but is the permittivity of two medium. Ratio of permittivity of air by permittivity of medium. That is epsilon R is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. Okay. So epsilon R into C naught. This is a new capacitance. And then suppose the electric field is greater than 1, capacitance initial final capacitance will be greater than initial capacitance. So epsilon R is greater than 1, C is greater than C naught. And then electric field increase adana capacitance increase agum, but voltage increase ana capacitance decrease agum. In this question, the electric field is decreased, voltage is decreased, but capacitance to be increased. Electric field will be greater than 1, C is greater than C naught. And then we calculate the new capacitance epsilon R, epsilon naught A by D. So epsilon R is the relative permittivity, epsilon naught is the permittivity in free phase, and A is the area, D is the distance between the two plates. So epsilon naught into epsilon R, what is this? It's the product of relative permittivity and permittivity in free phase. Is the I will explain one relation. So epsilon R is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught. In this part, epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon R. So you have to put that value in this equation. Epsilon R and epsilon naught is equal to epsilon. So epsilon A by D. This is the capacitance value. So this is the new capacitance also. And then energy. Next we will calculate the energy. So in this question, you insert the dielectrics between the capacitor. First charge constant, electric field decrease, voltage decreased, but capacitance will be increased. What is the energy? Energy to be increased or decreased? We will calculate. Okay. So energy formula. What's the formula for energy? Energy U naught is equal to half into Q naught square by C naught. What is Q? What is C naught? Q naught is the initial charge. C naught is the initial capacitance. So half into Q naught square by C naught. By using this relation, you have to write this relation epsilon C is equal to epsilon R into C naught. So epsilon naught is equal to epsilon R into C naught. So substitute that value. So U naught, Q naught square by C naught is the U naught by epsilon R. Okay, it will be clear that. Then this is a new energy. So new energy is equal to energy in initial by epsilon R. So relation between ratio of initial energy by relative permittivity. On this time, electric field is increased 1 is a greater number of 1, energy will be decreasing amount of initial energy. Electric field 1 விட அதிகமாச்சு அப்படினா energy வந்து என்ன செய்யும், initial energy விட decrease ஆகும். So இதுல ஒண்ணும் இல்ல, electric field first charge to be constant. So you have to disconnect the battery, you have to insert the dielectrics in the capacitors for charge to be constant. Okay, charge is constant, and then electric field will be increased or decreased, ma? It will be decreased because you remove the battery. So continuously the charge will be continuously the electric field to be decreases. So the electric field will be decreases. Voltage to be increased or decreased. You have to see that this part voltage will be also decreased. Voltage decreased, capacitance to be increased. Okay. Then energy also increase or decrease. Energy will be decreased or increase, ma? Initial energy by epsilon R. So relative permittivity will be decreases. So it will be decreases. Okay. So in this question I explained the dielectric will be inserted to the two capacitors. What are the effects to be created due to the dielectric? Dielectric நீங்க உள்ள வைக்கிறனால அந்த dielectricனால என்னென்ன effects வருது? நீங்க பேட்டரி கனெக்ஷன் கொடுக்குறீங்க, பேட்டரி கனெக்ஷன் ரிமூவ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க, ரிமூவ் பண்ண பிறகு என்னென்ன effects, என்னென்ன changes வந்து in between the capacitor இடையில வருது அதான் நம்ம பார்க்குறோம். first charge decrease constant ஆகும், electric field decrease ஆகும், voltage decrease ஆகும், capacitance increase ஆகும், energy decrease ஆகும். This is the effects of dielectrics in capacitor without the battery insert of the dielectrics. Next we will discuss about the with the battery. The dielectric will be inserted to the battery, sorry, capacitor, but the battery will be continuously, it will be in a connection. Continuous battery connection பண்ணிட்டீங்க, dielectric உங்களை insert பண்ணிட்டீங்க, என்ன ஆகும் இனி பார்க்க. Now we will go for capacitors connected with battery, but dielectric will be inserted to the plates of capacitors. Battery on the connection, but dielectric you have to insert between the two plates of capacitors. Okay, so first the case the battery will be disconnected, dielectric will be inserted, Q it will be constant, but in the time the battery will be always in the connection position. Connection le irukradanaல charge to be continuously, it will be increases. The first case the charge to be constant, in this case the charge to be increases, so you have to calculate the charge also. So how will you calculate the charge, ma? So Q naught is the initial charge and Q is the final charge. So final charge Q is equal to epsilon r into Q naught. So multiplication of relative permittivity in initial charge. So is the product you have to calculate, also the capacitance also. So first the electric field to be constant. Why? The continuously flow of electric fields by applying the battery, by connection of battery, the electric field will be constantly, it will flow from one plate to another plate. So the electric field to be constant, voltage also constant. So electric field constant, voltage constant, Q is increases. Q increases, you have to calculate the capacitance. So capacitance C is equal to Q by V naught. What is Q? That is epsilon r into Q naught and epsilon r into Q naught by V naught. So epsilon r Q naught by V naught is Q by V is C, capacitance. So initial capacitance C naught. So epsilon r into C naught. Okay. So the two plates நடுவுல dielectric வச்சிருக்கீங்க, பேட்டரியும் கனெக்ஷன்ல இருக்கு. பேட்டரி கனெக்ஷன்ல இருக்கறனால இடையில உள்ள எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட் கான்ஸ்டன்ட்டா ஃப்ளோ ஆகுது, வோல்டேஜ் கான்ஸ்டன்ட்டா இருக்கு, பட் சார்ஜ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிட்டே இருக்கு, கெபாசிட்டன்ஸும் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகுது. அந்த கெபாசிட்டன்ஸ் வேல்யூ தான் நம்ம கால்குலேட் பண்றோம். ஓகே, ஸோ த கெபாசிட்டன்ஸ் C naught is equal to epsilon naught A by D, initial capacitance with the battery connection. Then now the final capacitance C is equal to epsilon A by D. So nothing but epsilon naught is in a free phase, epsilon naught in a medium. Okay, so it will be calculate the capacitance on the basis of the initial capacitance. It will be also, it will be increases. So increasing of charge, automatically the capacitance to be increases. Okay, and third fourth one we will calculate the density, sorry, not a density, is the energy. What's the energy it will be used to move electric field from one plate to another plate? Will use stored the capacitance. So what are the amount of energy to be stored in the capacitance we will calculate. Okay, so energy, initial energy is equal to half into C naught into V naught. This is the energy stored in the capacitor formula, that is half C naught V naught square. We will substitute the C naught value, half into Q naught square into C naught. How will you calculate, ma? Substitute the C naught value and after we cancel, we will calculate half into Q naught square by C naught. This is the energy value, and next we will calculate the energy also in the form of capacitance. U naught is equal to half into C into V naught square. Substitute the C value. What's the C value, ma? That is epsilon r into C naught. So substitute that epsilon r into C naught into V naught square, and then you will calculate the half into Q naught square by C naught. Nothing is will be in the derivation part. Just know that the dielectric to be inserted with the battery connection, the charge will be increased or not, and the voltage will be increased or not, electric field will be increased or not, capacitance to be increased or decreased, and then energy will be decreased and then increase. You should know that all the things only, not the completely derivative part. Okay, so that is the energy U naught is equal to half into C naught, sorry, C naught and epsilon r into V naught square. On the way, the relative permittivity, it will be increase of, it will be greater than of 1. Automatically the new energy, it will be greater than of initial energy. So always the initial energy also increases. Battery connection இருக்கு, dielectricum நடுவுல இருக்கு, ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி பேட்டரி இருக்கிறதுனால எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்ட் கண்டினியூஸாக சப்ளை ஆகிறதுனால எலக்ட்ரிக் ஃபீல்டு வந்து கான்ஸ்டன்டாகவும் வோல்டேஜ் கான்ஸ்டன்டாகவும் இருக்கும். பட் சார்ஜ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும், கெப்பாசிட்டன்ஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும், எனர்ஜி இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். இதுதான் அதோடைய கன்க்ளூட் பாயிண்ட். ஸோ எனர்ஜி டென்சிட்டி, வாட்ஸ் த மீனிங் தட் எனர்ஜி டென்சிட்டி, மா? Energy density is nothing but what's the amount of energy to be stored in a particular place. ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் வோல்யூம்ல எந்த இடத்துல போய் ஸ்டோர் ஆகுது, that is the energy density. So how will you calculate the energy density? Formula is U is equal to half into epsilon into E naught square. What is the epsilon? Epsilon is permittivity in medium. What's the meaning that permittivity in medium? You choose the dielectric, what's the form of dielectric, what's the type of dielectric, it will be changed the, it will be depend upon the permittivity in medium. எந்த மாதிரி dielectric நீங்கள் உள்ள வைக்கிறீங்களோ அதுதான் அதோடைய permittivity of medium. Okay, so it is in charge density is equal to energy density use equal to half into epsilon into E naught square. So in this question the charge to be increased or decreased, ma? Charge to be increased. Then electric field will be increased or constant, electric field to be constant, and voltage to be increased or constant, voltage to be constant. Then capacitance to be increased or decreased, it will be increased. Then energy to be increased or decreased, ma? It will be increased. Okay, so in these two questions battery to be connected will be removed from the first part, second battery to be connected, and two phenomena, the dielectric to be inserted. The first battery will be removed, the battery will be disconnected before, after the battery removal condition, after the battery will be removed in this part, the charge to be constant, electric field to be decreased, voltage to be decreased, capacitance to be increased, and energy to be decreased. But between the battery connection, dielectric to be inserted to the battery, charge to be increases, and electric field to be constant, and voltage to be constant, and capacitance to be increased, and energy to be increased. So students, please note down all the phenomena will be explained in this topic. You have to learn this part only, after you have to learn the derivation part. Okay, then next I will go for the next question. The capacitor to be connected in series and parallel. How will you calculate the capacitor will be connected in series and parallel? So the effective capacitor will be calculated. So capacitor to be connected in series. What's the meaning that? Capacitor connected in series, take the three capacitors 1, 2 and 3. 3 it will be connected to series. What's the meaning that series, ma? The second end point of the terminal it will be connected to the first terminal of the second capacitor, and the second terminal of the second capacitor it will be connected to the first terminal of the third capacitor, and third capacitor finishing point it will be connected to the first capacitor of first terminal of the first capacitor. Okay, and then 3 capacitors will be connected with the battery. Okay, that is a positive and negative. The battery connected to the 3 capacitors. 3 capacitors will be connected in series. First capacitor is having the capacitance C1, second capacitor having the capacitance C2, and third capacitor having the capacitance C3. And then all the capacitors Q1, Q2, Q3 will be same. So Q1, Q2, what's the Q1, Q2, Q3, ma? Potential difference between the first capacitance Q1, potential difference between the second capacitance Q2, potential difference, not a potential difference, that will be in the charge, and the potential difference we will calculate. Potential difference will be differ from first capacitance, second capacitance and third capacitance, because the voltage will be falling from first terminal to second terminal, automatically the voltage will be drop between the two plates. So voltage of first capacitor is V1, voltage of second capacitor is V2, voltage of third capacitor is V3. So the total voltage V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Okay. So what's the meaning that now Q1, Q2, Q3, the charge in first capacitor, charge in second capacitor, charge in third capacitor will be constant, but voltage will be differ from one capacitor to another capacitor. So the total voltage V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. So we will substitute the V1, V2, V3. What's the formula for C? That is Q by V. Okay. We want V. So V is equal to Q by C. So V1 is equal to Q by C1, because C is constant. So C1 only be changed. So V is equal to Q by C. C, the capacitance will be connected in series. So Q by C is V1 is equal to Q by C1. V2 is equal to Q by C2, and V3 is equal to Q by C3. So substitute all the values in this equation. So what is V? Q by C is, what is V1? Q by C1. What is V2? Q by C2. What is V3? Q by C3. Substitute all the values, ma. So V is equal to total potential V is equal to Q by first substitute the V value, that is Q by CS, Q by CS and Q by C1 plus Q by C2 plus Q by C3. Okay. Then taking the Q in a common side, that is Q by CS is equal to, taking Q at the outside, balance 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Q cancel and 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Okay, what's the meaning that? The effective capacitance when the capacitor will be connected in series, it will be equal to the sum of the reciprocal of the capacitance of all the capacitors. What's the meaning that? The reciprocal of effective capacitance when the capacitor will be connected in series, it will be equal to the sum of the reciprocal of the all the individual capacitance. Okay, so 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. 3 capacitors series connect பண்ணிருந்தீங்கன்னா 3 ல உள்ள charge same, potential மட்டும் different. So அந்த potential நீங்க ஆட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா அதோட conclusion கிடைச்சிரும். ஒருவேளை 3 capacitors நீங்க சீரிஸ்ல கனெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்கன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்களேன், அந்த 3 capacitors உடைய ஃபைனல் capacitance என்ன அப்படிங்கறதுக்கான ஃபார்முலா தான் இது. So 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Now 3 capacitors will be connected in parallel. How will you calculate? 3 capacitors will be connected in parallel. Parallel means first we choose the 3 capacitors. First capacitant and second one and third one. So 3 capacitors will be connected one by one because the 2 initial terminal of the first capacitor will be connected to the initial term of the second and third capacitor. Final term of the capacitor will be connected to the final term of the whole capacitor. So the first capacitor is C1, second capacitor is C2, third capacitor is C3, and then battery will be connected. Okay, positive and negative. Then so we will calculate the 3 base, the current will be same or not? No, because the capacitance, the charge will be having in a capacitor C1, it will be reduced to, it will be falling to the next one. So first, 3 layum potential difference same. What's the meaning that potential difference? V1, V2, V3, it will be same, it will be constant. But Q it will be change. Q ஏன் change ஆகுது? இங்கே கொஞ்சம் சார்ஜ் இருக்கும், இதில் முடிஞ்சோன்னே இதில் கனெக்ஷன் முடிஞ்சோன்னே இங்கே வரும்போது கொஞ்சம் ரெடியூஸ் ஆகிருக்கும், அப்புறம் இங்கே வரும்போது ரெடியூஸ் ஆகும். இப்படி ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி இங்கேருந்து பேட்டரி ஃபாலோ ஆனால் இங்கே வரும், அப்புறம் இங்கேருந்து இங்கே ரெடியூஸ் ஆகும், இங்கேருந்து ரெடியூஸ் ஆகும். ஸோ ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி the Q it will be changed infrequently. So Q1, Q2, Q3 it will be changed. So total charge Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. Okay, again we will take that formula. C is equal to Q by V. So Q is equal to C into V. Okay, so C into V means C is the potential difference is same. So C it will be changed. C1, C2, C3 it will be changed. So Q is equal to first Q1 is Q is CV. So P is equal to C into V. Then Q1 is equal to C1 into V. Q2 is equal to C2 into V. Q3 is equal to C3 into V. Okay. So Q1, Q2, Q3, all the values you have to substitute in this equation. What is Q? Q as C into V. So Cp into V, because the capacitor will be connected in parallel. So Cp into V, Cp V is equal to Q1 is C1V, C2 Q2 is C2V, and Q3 is C3. Okay. So taking the V as a common, so V a common எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா Cp V is equal to V into C1, C2, C3. Okay. So V cancel. Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Okay. So what's the meaning that the capacitor will be connected in parallel? We will calculate the capacitor will be connected in parallel, it will be equal to the sum of the capacitance of all capacitors. Suppose the capacitor will be connected in series. Series, what's the formula ma? 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. That is, all the capacitors will be connected in series. So 1 by Cs is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by 3. This is the effective capacitance when the capacitor will be connected in series. This is the effective capacitance when the capacitor will be connected in parallel. This is the same question we will learn in the second lesson instead of capacitor instead of resistors. இங்கே resistor வச்சு படிப்பீங்க second lessonல completely இங்கே capacitance வச்சு படிப்பீங்க completely second lessonல resistors வச்சு படிப்பீங்க. So the two questions will be same. A capacitor will be connected in series. The capacitor will be capacitors to be connected in parallel. So we will calculate the effective capacitance on the basis of series and parallel. First case, in the series case, the Q1 it will be constant, potential will be changed. On the basis, we will calculate the 1 by Cs, that is the effective capacitance. But in this part, the capacitor will be conducted in parallel. On the way, the Q, it will be changed in each capacitors. So we will calculate the effective capacitance Cp, that is C1 plus C2, C3. Okay, that is when the capacitor will be conducted in series, we will easily calculate the effective capacitance. Okay, what was learned in this session, ma? First, the effect of dielectrics in the capacitor when the battery will be disconnected and connected. Connect பண்ணிருக்கும்போது connect பண்ணாம இருக்கும்போது அதோட dielectric effect என்ன அது பார்த்தோம். இப்போ பார்க்குறது capacitors will be series connection and capacitor will be taken as a parallel connection. We easily calculate the effective capacitance, that total capacitance. So what the way of the effective capacitance to be calculated when the capacitor will be connected in series and parallel. Okay, what is the home assignment, ma? So you have to learn the question when the capacitor will be connected in series and parallel. Okay, so home assignment. Learn and write the effective capacitance. Effective capacitance when the capacitors are connected in series and parallel. Connected in series and parallel. Okay. Okay, note down the assignment, ma. What is the effective capacitance when the capacitors are connected in series and parallel? Okay, okay, thank you.